Hi, this is Hamada, and welcome to Final 50. Now, almost 10 years ago, I decided to do something I had no idea if I was capable of doing, and that is climbing the roof of Africa. Now, Kilimanjaro is about 41 feet, right? Approximately almost 6,000 meters. And each year, about 30,000 people climb it. However, there's a lot of dangers: altitude sickness, rock falls, injuries, all kinds of stuff, and about 3 to 10 people die ascending the mountain each year. Now here is how it all started. I was sitting with my friend Haydar and a couple of other friends in Dubai, and one of them mentioned that a group of coworkers were planning to climb Kilimanjaro in the next 2 months. And so for whatever reason, I just felt it was right.
Realistically, when are we gonna plan such a trip for ourselves? Probably never.
We just said, let's do it. And that's really how this whole spontaneous adventure started. Now, as a group, we all descended into Moshi, Tanzania, which is known as the gateway of Kilimanjaro. And we finally had a chance to kind of all meet each other. But I have to say, we were all super nervous because none of us were mountaineers. None of us had really trained hard for this. And it was something that, we just hoped would come together and work out. And we also hoped we all had the right gear. Now, what makes Kilimanjaro so unique is it literally has 5 different climates. And because of all the different climates, it was just never boring. So the first climate that we went through is called the cultivation zone, which is kind of more between 0 meters and I think 1,800 meters. You kind of travel through little towns, the savanna, agricultural lands, and we drove up to about 1,800 meters where the trail starts. Once you get there, you start at kind of the rainforest, and that's really where Kilimanjaro, the trek, starts. And it's a whole new climate. And I'm not lying to you when I say that it really felt like a rainforest in Africa. We were really anxious to see what was gonna lie ahead because we couldn't imagine how this climate's gonna change so much. So the next day we woke up early and we were going to start wandering through what is called the moorland, which is the next level. And it reminds a lot of folks of like the Scottish Highland. I can see why in terms of just the kind of landscape. And for me, I suddenly started to surge. Me and my friend Haydar, we started to surge and went way ahead of everyone. Within the second day, we were like 2-3 hours ahead of everybody, to the point that our guides kept saying pole pole to kind of slow us down. But I don't know, I guess I was just so amped and excited to keep pressing ahead and trying to get to the camp as soon as possible in some ways. And I think it helped us because when we got to the camp, we got 2 to 3 hours earlier than everyone else. And I think that really allowed us to kind of rest even more than other folks, eat better, and sleep earlier. By day 4, the headaches started to kick in, but thankfully we had started acclimating as well, and so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Now, the environment was what they call Highland Alpine Desert, and it felt like something like Mars meets Mad Max. Truly desert, no animals, just barren rock with, it's very inhospitable territory. And sadly at this point, one of the people in the group was suffering so badly from altitude sickness, I think he was getting pulmonary edema, and so they had to take him back down, which was a freaking nightmare for the folks there that were helping us up. But it was like fatigue, nausea. And look, the Tanzanian porters made the experience so amazing. And they just kept pushing us, and encouraging us and supporting us and ensuring our safety. This is the song that they basically sing to kind of pump you up and motivate you. Jambo, Jambo, Bawana Habri. I can't remember how the song went, but I'd probably butcher it. But I remember it finishes with Hakuna Matata, which obviously always used to make me laugh. So now it was up to the last day, and we had gone so far and everything was riding on this day. So we woke up at 1 a.m. as I said, and it was really cold and windy. I had this baklava that I had on my face, trying to keep as warm as possible. We all lined up almost like in a chain gang, slowly ascending. But then suddenly I was like, I can't. I've got to just keep pushing ahead. And so I put on some really good music and then just step by step, just push through to try to get to the top, especially by sunrise, which was really the goal. And we got this area called the Arctic Summit Zone, which is kind of like the last zone. It's as if Africa meets the Arctic. Just a completely different ambiance, and the temperature dropped to like sub-zero temperatures. As I was pushing up there, the porter said, listen, if you push hard and you run now, you can be literally the first person on the top of the mountain that day. And for whatever reason, I have no idea where the energy came, and I just gunned it, ran for my life at that altitude, almost 6,000 meters, right to the summit. And it was just pure and utter magic. As we turned around, You could see the glacier, the crater, and the clouds all below you with the sun slowly rising. And we got there like around 6 a.m. and it was just pure magic, bliss, and humbling. Like you could just imagine the power of God and the power of nature to kind of humble you and show you this incredible moment. And with those sentiments in mind, and for some reason spontaneously, we decided to pray right there and then. We just kind of fell to our knees, and it turned out that our porter, his name was Moses, was also Muslim. So we were all praying together in unison, overlooking the horizon.
The light that we saw as we lined up to pray was unbelievable. It's like watching a movie with my own eyes. I couldn't believe it.
It was just pure magic. It was one of the greatest experiences in my life in terms of travel, I have to say. It was just unbelievably emotional. So as we were descending and we took a rest back at the base camp, I asked Moses, I'm like, look, is there any way possible that we could hike down today and make it down safely to the hotel where we started? And he said, yeah, it's possible. The other folks usually were going to take 2 days, but I said, look, let's try to do it in 1 day. So I turned around to my friend Haidar and I said, hey, are you willing to head down and try to do all of it today? And he said, fine, let's do it, you know?
We decided, right, it's time to go down. We need some oxygen. We bumped into some team members and we're giving them pep talks and handing out energy drinks, energy snacks. And we're telling them, trust me, when you get there, it's all worth it. Make sure you summit.
We start going down and down and down. Every 2 seconds, we turn to Moses and be like, hey, how much more? And he'd be like, hey, it's only a couple of more kilometers. Finally, we were like just starting to get lost. His phone dies, the walkie-talkie dies, and we're in the middle of nowhere, I felt. Exhausted, scared, frustrated, and this guy keeps saying, yeah, just a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more, and we just kept pushing, and finally, out of nowhere, as it was like a Deus Ex Machina moment, this Jeep pulls through the rainforest finally and just scoops us up and takes us back to the hotel, which was just remarkable. I got there, I was able to take a shower for the first time in 5 days, go to the bathroom properly, and the next day everybody else showed up and we celebrated and we cheered and we got our little certificates. They say that we climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and it was just like such a good, awesome, positive experience pretty much for all of us. I highly recommend that you do it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Please post any comments below. If you've done Kilimanjaro, post it below. I'd love to hear your comments and your experiences. And if you have any questions about my own experience, please put it below. I'd love to create a community with you. In the meantime, stay curious, and I look forward to seeing you on my next journey.